The United Kingdom's Ministry of Defense latest intelligence update on Ukraine, June 22, 2023. On June 20, 2023, Russia's Duma voted to create a parliamentary committee to investigate alleged crimes committed by the Ukrainian government against juveniles in the Donbass since 2014. The Duma is almost certainly responding to the international condemnation of Russia's deportation of children from occupied Ukraine since its full-scale invasion. The move is highly likely both a form of lawfare and contributes to Russian information operations, weaponizing legislation by attempting to muddy the narrative around its own egregious actions. Messaging around children's rights is likely an important communications theme for the Kremlin, because alleged child deportations form the basis of the International Criminal Court's arrest warrant against President Putin, issued in March 2023. The Air Force Command of Ukraine's Armed Forces update. On the night of June 22, 2023, Russia attacked Ukraine from the air with Kh-22, Kh-47 inches Kinzhal missiles and Shahed-136 and 131 attack drones. Russia launched 3 Kh-22 cruise missiles from the Tu-22 M3 bombers from the Sea of Azov, and 3 Kh-47 Kinzhal aeroballistic missiles from a MiG-31K. The launches of 4 Iranian Shaheeds were also recorded. 3 enemy drones were destroyed by anti-aircraft defense. Fortunately, Russia's missiles did not reach their targets in Dnipropetrovsk region. However, Russia continues their terror against the Ukrainian people, attempting to attack critical infrastructure in Ukraine. The Institute for the Study of War, Russian Offensive Campaign Assessment. Ukrainian forces continued counteroffensive operations in at least 3 sectors of the front, and reportedly made gains on June 22. The Ukrainian General Staff reported that Ukrainian forces conducted offensive operations in the Kreminna area in Luhansk Oblast, in western Zaporizhia Oblast, and on the administrative border between Zaporizhia and Donetsk Oblasts. Ukrainian Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar reported that Ukrainian forces in the Kreminna area achieved partial successes and consolidated themselves in new positions. Ukrainian Tavris Group of Forces spokesperson, Captain Valery Shershin, reported that Ukrainian forces advanced up to 1 kilometer in western Zaporizhia Oblast and on the administrative border between Zaporizhia and Donetsk Oblasts. Shershin added that these Ukrainian advances were tactical measures aimed at improving Ukrainian positions along the front. The Russian Ministry of Defense claimed that Ukrainian forces also conducted unsuccessful offensive operations along the Avdiivka Donetsk city front. Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal stated on June 21 that Ukrainian forces have liberated 8 settlements and over 113 square kilometers of territory since starting counteroffensive operations on June 4. The Institute for the Study of War key takeaways today. Senior Kremlin officials continue to publicly address the Ukrainian counteroffensive in a cohesive manner and acknowledge Ukrainian forces will conduct further operations, while continuing to inflate Russian successes. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu announced that the Russian Ministry of Defense will form a reserve army by the end of June, form a new army corps, and reinforce key Western military district formations as part of intended force restructuring. The Russian Ministry of Defense is unlikely to fully formalize Russian volunteer formations by its stated July 1 deadline. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky stated that Ukrainian intelligence indicates that Russian forces are preparing to conduct a possible sabotage attack at the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. A Russian-created radiological incident at the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant remains unlikely, but not impossible. Ukrainian forces may be intensifying efforts to strike Russian ground lines of communication in southern Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky acknowledged that Western partners have different expectations for Ukraine's counteroffensive, and stated that Ukrainian forces will perform operations as Ukraine sees fit, independent of pressure from another country. Russian and Ukrainian forces continued ground attacks near the Kupiansk-Svatov line. Ukrainian forces continued counteroffensive operations near Kreminna. Russian forces conducted limited ground attacks near Bakhmut. Russian and Ukrainian forces conducted limited ground attacks along the Avdiivka Donetsk city line. Ukrainian and Russian forces continued offensive operations on the administrative border between Donetsk and Zaporizhia Oblasts. Ukrainian forces continued counteroffensive operations in western Zaporizhia Oblast. Ukrainian officials reported that Russian forces are transferring GRU Spetsnaz units to Kursk and Bryansk Oblasts to fight Russian partisans. Russian sources claim that the Russian Federal Security Service, the FSB, arrested a group of saboteurs in occupied Melitopol that allegedly planned the assassination of unnamed Zaporizhia Oblast occupation officials in sabotage against railroads.